What you're looking at right now is the absolute destruction of a 20-year hip-hop brotherhood. An explosive, top-secret leaked video straight from the inner circle of Maybach Music Group has just hit the internet, and it has officially sent the entire music industry into a state of absolute panic. In this jaw-dropping footage, the biggest boss himself, Rick Ross, can be seen completely humiliating and tearing down the legendary King of the South, T.I. But this isn't just a regular rap disagreement. This is a cold-blooded public execution of a man's legacy. Ross didn't just reject a simple musical request. He looked directly into the camera, laughed in the face of a hip-hop icon, and claimed that T.I. is quite literally on his knees, begging for a feature to save his upcoming final album, Kill the King. He exposed private texts, mocked desperate midnight voice notes, and dropped a single, dangerous accusation that could instantly erase T.I.'s entire street credibility. Right now, behind closed doors, multi-million-dollar deals are crumbling, empires are fracturing, and the entire world is holding its breath because what we have uncovered behind the scenes changes absolutely everything you thought you knew about this war. To understand the cataclysmic scale of what has just unfolded, we have to peel back the layers of a decades-long relationship built on extreme power, unimaginable wealth, and a fragile street code. For over 15 years, the names Rick Ross and T.I. weren't just names. They were massive corporate entities of street power. They were the absolute rulers of the Southern rap aristocracy. When the trap music explosion of the 2010s redefined global culture, these two men stood shoulder to shoulder as an untouchable, multi-platinum alliance. Rick Ross, the towering mastermind behind the Maybach Music Group empire, built a legacy on criminal opulence and cinematic luxury. T.I., the undisputed, self-proclaimed King of the South, brought an unyielding pen, immense political influence, and absolute raw charisma straight from the concrete of Atlanta. Together, they created an illusion of an unbreakable brotherhood that dictated what the streets listened to and how millions of dollars flowed through the music industry. But what the public saw on flashy red carpets and shared private jets was nothing more than a beautifully constructed facade. Behind the closed doors of elite recording studios, a quiet, terrifying Cold War had been brewing for nearly a decade. In the rap game, the throne can only hold one true ruler, and as the digital era began to prioritize viral trends over historical longevity, the space at the top of the mountain shrank to a dangerous level. Whispers began circulating through hidden industry channels that T.I.'s grip on the culture was slipping, while Rick Ross continued to reinvent himself as a master of internet algorithms and high-profile feuds. The mutual respect was slowly replaced by a silent, predatory tension, waiting for the perfect catalyst to explode into an all-out tribal war. That catalyst arrived the exact moment T.I. officially announced his highly anticipated upcoming studio album, Kill the King. This project wasn't being rolled out as just another collection of songs. It was explicitly marketed as his absolute final curtain call, his definitive magnum opus, and the closing chapter of his entire musical career. In the brutal, unforgiving world of modern streaming metrics, a veteran legend's final album is a high-stakes gamble. It is the single project that either cements your place on the permanent Mount Rushmore of music or completely tarnishes your legacy if the numbers fall flat. Behind the scenes at the Grand Hustle Empire, the pressure was mounting to an absolute breaking point. A final album requires an earthquake-level buzz, and in the year 2026, there are very few names that guarantee a viral headline quite like The Biggest Boss. Highly classified insider reports from deep within the Atlanta recording circuits reveal that T.I.'s team had grown increasingly anxious as corporate deadlines approached. The modern landscape had turned cold on traditional icons, and younger streaming audiences were demanding explosive energy. Out of absolute sheer necessity, T.I. reached out to Rick Ross, completely relying on their decades of shared history to secure a platinum-tier guest verse that would save the album's rollout. But what T.I. failed to realize was that the music industry has no mercy for vulnerability. Instead of finding a brother willing to help him cross the finish line, T.I. was walking directly into a meticulously planned ambush. Rick Ross wasn't looking to throw a lifeline to a fading king. He was waiting for the ultimate moment of desperation to strike a psychological blow so lethal that it would ensure T.I.'s final chapter would be written in complete and utter humiliation. The trap was set, the bait was taken, and the inevitable explosion was about to change the history of Southern hip-hop forever. Now, let us step directly into the absolute heart of this burning scandal, because what transpired on the night of June 8, 2026, has permanently altered the landscape of the music business. The venue was an ultra-exclusive, high-security luxury lounge tucked away in the elite districts of Miami. The room was packed to capacity with billionaire tech investors, legendary athletes, and high-level music syndicators. Rick Ross was holding court in his private VIP section, surrounded by the innermost circle of his Maybach Music Group empire. The atmosphere was thick with the scent of expensive cigars and celebration. But everything changed in a single, terrifying flash when a trusted associate within that very VIP section covertly pulled out a smartphone and began recording what was supposed to be a highly classified, private conversation. The resulting video footage, which was leaked onto a notorious underground internet forum before spreading like an unstoppable wildfire across mainstream platforms, is nothing short of a psychological horror show for the Grand Hustle camp. The tape begins with Rick Ross holding a golden goblet of champagne, laughing with a terrifying, booming intensity that echoes through the room. The camera shifts slightly, capturing the glowing screen of Ross's personal iPhone. On that screen, according to our deep insider sources, were dozens of desperate, unread text messages and a sequence of lengthy voice notes sent directly from T.I.'s private number at 3 o'clock in the morning. "Look at this man," Ross roars in the video, slamming his diamond encrusted hand onto the marble table while his entire entourage laughs in sync. "The self-proclaimed king is sending me endless paragraphs in the middle of the night. He is sending me weeping voice notes begging me to save his legacy. He is practically on his hands and knees pleading with the boss to jump on his track, so his final album doesn't completely flop in the first week. The mighty king has turned into a literal beggar." The atmosphere within the leaked footage instantly transitions from mocking hilarity to a heavy, suffocating silence as Rick Ross pulls down his dark designer sunglasses. He looks straight into the camera lens with cold, unyielding eyes, delivering a verbal execution that has completely traumatized the entire city of Atlanta. "Let me make this entirely clear to the world right now," Ross states, his voice dropping to a sinister, measured whisper. "I do not do business with federal informants. I don't put my platinum pen next to a known snitch. You ruined your city. You ruined your own name with that paperwork history, and now you want the biggest boss to put a band-aid on your dying career? It is a hard no. Keep begging, little man. The throne is empty." In the unforgiving subculture of hip-hop, where street credibility is the ultimate currency, that single statement did not just deny a musical collaboration. It was a tactical, nuclear strike designed to completely erase a 20-year career and brand T.I. with the most dangerous label imaginable. But if you think the psychological damage to T.I.'s pride is the worst part of the story, you are completely wrong. Our investigative team has just uncovered a massive, multi-million-dollar corporate twist that elevates this feud into an absolute financial massacre. The truth behind T.I.'s middle-of-the-night desperation is infinitely more terrifying than anyone on Twitter could have ever imagined. Our internal industry sources have confirmed that T.I. did not want a Rick Ross feature out of mere artistic vanity. The reality is that the entire financial future of the Grand Hustle empire was riding on that specific verse. Just weeks prior to this catastrophic leak, T.I. had entered into advanced, closed-door legal negotiations for an unprecedented, multi-million-dollar master distribution and catalog acquisition contract with a massive global tech streaming conglomerate. The valuation of this staggering contract was locked in at an estimated $25 million. However, the corporate investors added an aggressive, mandatory condition directly into the paperwork. The upcoming final album, Kill the King, had to feature a definitive list of certified, modern hitmakers to guarantee a massive streaming debut, and Rick Ross was explicitly named in a legal contract as the required cornerstone feature. The exact second that backstage video leaked to the global public, the corporate legal teams for the streaming giant instantly went into a state of absolute panic. The moment the words informant and snitch began trending worldwide alongside T.I.'s name, the conglomerate's board of directors activated an emergency reputational morality clause. They immediately froze T.I.'s multi-million-dollar funding asset accounts and issued a terrifying legal ultimatum. If the King of the South cannot completely clear his name and secure the required industry cosigns within 48 hours, the entire $25 million distribution contract will be permanently canceled, leaving Grand Hustle in complete financial ruin. Think about the sheer, unadulterated chaos echoing through T.I.'s camp right now. This is no longer a petty internet rap beef about who has the better lyrics. Rick Ross has successfully backed T.I. into a dark, corporate corner, freezing his assets and threatening to destroy his entire life's work before the album even has an official release date. Every single dollar, every piece of legacy, and the entire future of Grand Hustle is hanging by a microscopic thread. If you're sitting there thinking that this situation couldn't possibly get any more chaotic, brace yourselves, because the digital underworld has just dropped a second nuclear bomb that has turned this entire narrative completely upside down. The smoke from Rick Ross's initial video leak hadn't even cleared before an anonymous whistleblower account on an encrypted dark web file-sharing platform released a highly classified 5-minute raw audio recording. This isn't a blurry video or a secondhand rumor. This is the actual, wiretapped phone conversation between T.I. himself and a top-level Maybach Music Group executive. What is captured on this tape has completely horrified and traumatized the hip-hop community to its very core. The raw desperation vibrating through the speaker's voice completely shatters the proud, unyielding image of the King of the South that fans have defended for over 2 decades. On this leaked audio track, which is currently being analyzed by every major audio forensics team on social media, a voice matching T.I.'s exact cadence can be heard pleading in an incredibly tense, breathless tone. He isn't just negotiating a standard music industry deal anymore. He is actively offering up unimaginable financial sacrifices that have left industry insiders utterly speechless. The speaker is heard explicitly offering Rick Ross an unprecedented 50% share of his lifetime publishing rights for the collaborative track, combined with a staggering, direct cash payment of $500,000 out of his own pocket, completely bypassing standard record label channels and auditing boards. "Tell Ross I don't care what the number is," the voice says, filled with an undeniable panic that you can literally feel through the screen. "We need to put the city on our backs one last time. I'll clear the publishing. I'll hand over the master rights to the track. I'll match whatever demands he puts on the table. Just get him to clear the verse before the corporate deadline hits. My entire legacy is riding on this rollout." Let that sink in for a second. A rap god, a pioneer of the trap subgenre, offering to liquidate his own historical assets just to appease the gatekeeper of MMG. The exact millisecond this secret audio recording bypassed internet firewalls, the digital world completely melted down into a state of pure hysteria. The word desperate instantly shot to the #1 trending topic worldwide on Twitter, racking up an unimaginable 3 million individual posts in less than 6 hours. The online backlash has been swift, vicious, and completely merciless on platforms like TikTok and Instagram. Viral videos are dissecting every single syllable of T.I.'s voice note, creating memes out of his panic and mocking the downfall of the Grand Hustle empire. One viral tweet with over 500,000 likes stated, "I never thought I'd live to see the day where the King of the South was buying a feature like a desperate SoundCloud rapper." Rick Ross didn't just reject him. He took his crown and threw it in the dirt. Another top industry commentator posted, "If this tape is authentic, Kill the King isn't just an album title anymore. It's a literal description of what Rick Ross just did to T.I.'s 20-year legacy." But the devastation extends far beyond the realm of furious fan debates. The entire corporate music industry has officially thrown itself into an unprecedented state of absolute panic. A series of allegedly leaked screenshots from an exclusive, invite-only celebrity group chat surfaced on Reddit, showing major A-list hip-hop figures reacting to the audio file in real time with sheer disbelief and fear. Our internal sources have confirmed that several high-profile artists who were originally locked in as confirmed guest features on T.I.'s Kill the King tracklist are now privately instructing their legal teams to pull their verses from the project immediately. The industry has grown terrified of the collateral damage. Nobody wants to find themselves standing on an album tracklist that is being publicly dragged through the mud, and absolutely nobody wants to awaken the wrath of Rick Ross's weaponized social media empire. Production houses are freezing their beats, PR firms are issuing emergency media blackouts, and the entire rollout for T.I.'s final masterpiece has degenerated into a toxic hazard zone. Just as the world is trying to process this monumental shift in power, a chilling new question has emerged from the darkness that leaves everyone completely paralyzed with anticipation. A prominent cybersecurity group noticed that a mysterious, encrypted landing page has suddenly appeared on a primary Maybach Music Group affiliate platform. The page contains absolutely no text, no press releases, and no statements. Only a completely pitch-black background, an image of a shattered gold crown dripping with blood, and a digital countdown timer ticking away the seconds in real time. What happens when that clock hits zero? Is Rick Ross preparing to release a full-length, career-ending diss track utilizing T.I.'s desperate voice notes as the musical hook, or is there an even darker, more radioactive piece of evidence waiting to be unleashed upon the world? The tension is thick enough to cut with a knife. The clock is relentlessly ticking, and T.I. is running out of time to stop a total cultural eclipse. The global hip-hop community has officially fractured into a chaotic state of all-out ideological warfare, and the online battlefield is reaching a level of toxicity that we haven't witnessed in decades. Every single major podcast network, underground hip-hop blog, and mainstream cultural commentator has completely abandoned their regular programming to spend the last 48 hours dissecting every frame of Rick Ross's brutal backstage video and every single second of that desperate, black market phone call. This is no longer a simple musical disagreement. It has evolved into a full-scale philosophical war about street honor, raw capitalist survival, and the true price of a legacy. The culture has split violently down the middle, with fans and insiders choosing their allegiances in a battle that is threatening to permanently cut ties between the powerful music empires of Miami and Atlanta. On one side of these digital trenches stand the unyielding Maybach Music Group loyalists. They are aggressively flooding comment sections with cold, unapologetic defenses of Rick Ross's ruthless actions. To them, the biggest boss is doing exactly what a multi-million-dollar corporate gatekeeper must do, protecting the absolute purity of his brand at all costs. They argue that in the unforgiving streets of hip-hop, a street code is absolute, and there are zero exceptions, even for an old brother who is staring down the end of his career. They believe T.I.'s secret, middle-of-the-night financial offers only prove that the king of the South's kingdom has completely crumbled, exposing a vulnerable man trying to buy his way back into relevancy. On the opposite side of the battlefield stand the furious grand hustle purists. They are violently striking back, labeling Rick Ross as a cold-blooded, calculated culture vulture who has crossed an unforgivable line. They argue that T.I. is an unmitigated legend who laid the very foundations of the Southern Trap movement long before Ross ever secured a major distribution deal, and that treating his final album rollout with such public malice is an act of pure corporate evil. The chaos on the timelines is utterly out of control as viral tweets rack up millions of views by the minute. One high-profile online personality posted, "The sheer disrespect coming from Ross is demonic. T.I. gave the South a voice, and now he's being publicly executed by a man he used to call his brother. The culture is dead." Meanwhile, a heavily upvoted comment on an underground hip-hop forum counter-argued, "Business is business." If T.I. has paperwork clouds hanging over his head, standing next to him destroys Ross's own corporate valuations. You can't ask a man to jeopardize his bag just to save your final album. T.I. dug his own grave on that audio tape. Another viral post summed up the terrifying atmosphere, stating, "Atlanta will never forgive Miami for this. The clubs are already banning MMG music. This isn't just internet drama anymore. This is a real-world cultural embargo." Behind the closed doors of elite record labels and power-brokering management agencies, the panic is reaching an absolute fever pitch. High-level executives from rival distribution networks are reportedly holding emergency meetings, desperate to contain the radioactive fallout from this feud. Several legendary Southern rap pioneers, who have maintained close friendships with both Ross and T.I. for decades, have completely locked down their social media accounts, terrified that a single wrong word could drag them into the crossfire. Rumors are swirling that a massive, multi-city cultural embargo is quietly being organized behind the scenes by top Atlanta venue owners threatening to permanently ban any Maybach Music Group artist from performing in the city. The tension is so thick it is suffocating the entire industry, and absolutely everyone is waiting for the next shoe to drop. As the digital warfare continues to escalate with no signs of slowing down, a heavy, ominous cloud hangs over the entire hip-hop landscape. The division between the fans is getting deeper, the financial losses are growing larger, and the silence from the principal players is becoming absolutely terrifying. But just as the industry prepares for a temporary standstill, a chilling leak from a top-tier Atlanta recording studio suggests that the true horror of this war has only just begun. And now, my friends, brace yourselves, because we have just arrived at the absolute pinnacle of this entire saga, a cataclysmic final twist that has completely turned this entire war into a terrifying psychological thriller. The music industry was already standing on the edge of a cliff, waiting for that mysterious countdown timer on the Maybach Music Group affiliate platform to hit zero. The entire world took it for granted that Rick Ross was about to drop a nuclear, career-ending diss track to finish T.I. off once and for all. But just minutes ago, our investigative team received an emergency, encrypted document from a high-level network administrator that shatters the entire reality of this conflict. Here is the mind-blowing truth that will leave you completely paralyzed. That countdown timer was not put there by Rick Ross. The Maybach Music Group main servers were completely breached in a highly sophisticated, multi-layered cyber attack. The blood-dripping crown and the relentless ticking clock were planted there by a ghost tactical team directly funded by the highest corporate levels of the Grand Hustle Empire. T.I. did not spend the last 48 hours weeping in the dark over his ruined reputation. He was executing an unprecedented digital counter-ambush. When that clock hits absolute zero, it is not Rick Ross who will be dropping a song. It is T.I. who is unleashing a highly classified, raw audio file that will completely terminate Rick Ross's career and credibility on the spot. According to the terrifying details leaked from the security firm investigating the server breach, T.I. has been secretly recording his private brain trust meetings with Rick Ross for the last 3 years. The file set to automatically publish when the countdown expires is an unedited, high-definition audio recording of Rick Ross speaking on a hot mic during a private yacht party in Miami. On this tape, the biggest boss explicitly confesses that he knows the entire snitch and informant narrative against T.I. is a complete, manufactured lie. Ross is allegedly caught on camera laughing with a tech billionaire, admitting that he intentionally revived the fake paperwork rumors as a weaponized corporate strategy to artificially tank the market valuation of T.I.'s Kill the King album. The goal? To force Grand Hustle into bankruptcy so that Maybach Music Group could swoop in and buy T.I.'s entire 20-year music catalog for absolute pennies on the dollar. Let the sheer magnitude of that revelation sink directly into your mind. If this counterleak is authentic, Rick Ross isn't the apex predator of this game. He is the one who just walked straight into a multi-million-dollar slaughterhouse. He thought he was publicly executing a fading king, completely unaware that the king was playing high-level 4D chess, baiting Ross into making a public statement so that this secret tape would inflict maximum, irreversible damage. But the horror goes even deeper. Unconfirmed reports are now exploding across underground industry networks claiming that a third, unnamed hip-hop billionaire mogul from New York is the mastermind who secretly financed T.I.'s digital strike, turning a petty Southern rap beef into a multi-billion-dollar war for total industry supremacy. The final seconds on that countdown clock are evaporating right now. The red lights inside both corporate headquarters are flashing in a state of absolute emergency. Who is truly the predator, and who is about to become the ultimate prey? We are standing on the absolute precipice of a total cultural eclipse, and neither of these music empires may survive the radioactive fallout of what is coming next. This is officially the most insane, high-stakes psychological war hip-hop has ever witnessed, and the countdown is about to hit absolute zero. I need to hear from you right now. Who is truly pulling the strings here? Is Rick Ross the ultimate corporate mastermind, or did T.I. just trap the biggest boss in a multi-million-dollar digital ambush? Drop your theories down in the comments below using hashtag Team Ross or hashtag Team T.I. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on all notifications right now because we are tracking both camps every single second. Don't look away, the next update drops immediately.